Welcome to Module 2. This week, we're really going to start delving into the topic of challenging behavior. So, what is challenging behavior? Challenging behavior is something that can be difficult to define, but we kind of all know it when we see it. Challenging behavior is that behavior that goes beyond maybe a nuisance. Sometimes nuisance behaviors as a term used to refer to things like calling out, not waiting for your turn, demanding a lot of attention. Those are kinds of things that are difficult to manage, but are not severely disruptive. When we talk about challenging behavior, we're talking about behaviors that really interfere with the ability of the individual and or those around them to complete their daily tasks, their daily life. So we're talking about things like hitting, biting, throwing, falling on the floor and refusing to do anything, running away, taking your clothes off, cursing loudly and repeatedly, um, making threats, just all those things that really you have no choice but to stop and address the behavior because they're dangerous or they are so disruptive to the environment that you just can't go on. Individuals who will take and destroy property, individuals who will throw things, who will turn desks and chairs over. And we see challenging behavior throughout the lifespan. So, challenging behavior often appears with young children. So, we'll see it when children are toddlers and preschoolers. And the really sad thing is that if we don't intervene, if we don't take and help that individual find better ways to cope and better ways to get their needs met, that challenging behavior will remain consistent throughout the lifespan. And so individuals who display challenging behavior as preschoolers often turn into individuals who display challenging behavior as adults. And we as professionals supporting children and adults, we want to interrupt that cycle. So we want to take and intervene so that way the individual can develop appropriate behavior and can really fully participate in the community and life. And that's what you're going to learn to do through this course. So this week, your readings really revolve around defining challenging behavior. And that definition is important because often we use vague terms like, oh, that child is aggressive. Well, to me, aggressive may be causing bodily harm. To you, the child that goes and kind of swats at you gently, that child may be aggressive. I may not count that as aggressive. You may. If we talk about inappropriate language, it may be that a child who says things like, oh, gosh darn it, to me, that's not inappropriate language. Maybe to you it is. And so we need to start out when we're talking about challenging behavior by coming up with a definition that really communicates clearly what that behavior is. If we don't, what will happen is the behavior may seem like, I don't really see it. And you may be saying, oh, this happens all the time. And that may lead us to think that the child behaves differently with me than with you, when what it really is we're looking at the behavior differently. I'm looking at the same things that you're looking at, but I'm saying, I can deal with this. And you're saying, this is too much. And sometimes, those limits are in different places with different behaviors. Like, I may be really tolerant of language with my teen. So, like, I can handle a teen cursing at me, maybe. And maybe you can't, you draw the line there. But by the same token, if I ask my teen to do something and they don't hop to it, that may be where I draw the line. And you may be like, well, it's okay. We need to give them some time to ease into this. And I'll walk away and come back and see maybe they'll get themselves on task. And so it's not always I'm more tolerant and you're less tolerant or the other way around. Sometimes it really is the specific behavior that gets under our skin. So, as you're doing today's readings, start thinking about what challenging behavior is, but also start thinking about that individual you're going to work with and start thinking about exactly what are the behaviors that individual exhibits that are the most challenging across environments, across people, or in the specific environment on which you're focusing. And how can you define those behaviors so that everybody agrees that this fits that definition and that doesn't? As you're working through that definition, I encourage you to share the definition you've created with other people who work with the individual, with families, with coworkers, um, whoever you have access to, and say, hey, this is how I'm defining it. Do you think this is clear? To me, this behavior would fit under this definition, but this wouldn't. Does it say that same thing to you? To make sure that your definition is really clear and everyone agrees on it, and that will really help you make sure that as you progress through the semester, the information you're gathering is accurate. Have a great module and let me know if you need any help.